Get ready to meet the next generation of female changemakers who are taking the lead to carve the shining future that they want to see. Gold Award Girl Scouts identify problems in their community and beyond, then take action to implement sustainable solutions. Get ready to meet some of those changemakers and the supporters who help them make the world a better place. This is the Make the World a Better Place podcast. Welcome to the Make the World a Better Place podcast. I'm your host, Shanice Harris, and I'm here with a very special Girl Scout alum. Say hello to National Gold Award Girl Scout, Claire Askew. She was nominated this year by Girl Scouts of the Colonial Coast for the National Gold Award Scholarship, and she was then selected by a Girl Scouts of the USA committee to receive a $10,000 scholarship. We are so proud of her. National Gold Award Scholarship recipients must have completed a Gold Award project that demonstrated extraordinary leadership with a measurable and sustainable impact on a huge scale. Claire's project did just that. So, without further ado, welcome to the podcast, Claire.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks so much for coming out. So I know it's summertime, and I'm curious what you've been up to since graduation.
So I actually graduated in 2023. I finished up my project right after my graduation, so I was barely in the cutoff for the next year. So I've spent this past year at the University of Alabama as a freshman. I'm currently studying economics and history on a pre-law track, but I'm also considering maybe doing something in sales because I was definitely a big cookie seller in my day. So entrepreneurship kind of runs in my veins still.
I love that. It sounds like you took some of the skills you learned and kind of carried them with you as far as what you're inspired to aspire towards. So I'm curious, you talked a bit about your experience selling cookies. How long were you actually a Girl Scout, and what did you enjoy most about your time?
So I was actually a Girl Scout for all 13 years that you could be. I distinctly remember I would go to Main Street United Methodist Church, and I have since I was 1 week old. And I remember the Girl Scouts carrying their cookies into the church when I was 3. And I kept telling my mom, I want to be one of them. I want to join. And she was like, well, you can't yet. You're too young. But as soon as you're in kindergarten, we'll sign you up. And she did. And the first year, I was just like, a little daisy doing all the badges and stuff. But there was just a lot of girls and not enough leaders. So the second year, my mom actually stepped up to be one of the leaders. And I think that's what really drove me to continue, was because we had that special bond that, mother and daughter, and it was kind of the thing that we did together. And so since she was the leader, she put so much time and effort to make sure that I was having such a good time and my friends were, that we actually had the largest group throughout Girl Scouts. And she actually had 5 of her 6 Girl Scouts finish all the way through and earn their Gold Award. So I think that was definitely one of the driving factors, was that mother-daughter bond that we got to have.
I love to hear that. That's really inspiring when the whole family gets involved. It can really elevate the experience you have. And I love that your mom saw a need, she stepped up, and you two were really able to bond over that connection. That is really special. I love that. So after you were a Girl Scout for so many years, I imagine you earned your Silver Award as well. What inspired you to go on and earn the Gold Award, and why did you choose the topic you chose?
So I think it's definitely a combination of things. I'm a perfectionist, high achiever. I really wanted to finish through. I did my bronze when I was a junior, silver as a cadet, and I was like, I gotta get the gold too, gotta finish it off. And I think partially what drove the topic was I really wanted to create a structure because that's what I'd seen all of the Eagle Scouts doing. And I was like, it's not just boys that can do it. Girls can be out here doing the big projects too. But I also still wanted to incorporate the people aspect of it, because that's what Boy Scouts really doesn't hone in on, is actually interacting with the community as much. They more just build the structures for them, but then they don't follow through. And so I really wanted to combine the two of them. And so that's when I saw that playground that was in need, and that was what really inspired my project. And I really wanted to hone in on the aspect of healthy habits because I knew that was a need in my community, especially with my mom being a pediatrician. She was very adamant about that's a great project. We should really do this. And it really is a we thing because, like, the parents, especially my parents, helped me so much and gave me so much support throughout the whole process. And especially, like, my mom with from the healthy habits aspect, and my dad with the building, because he was like, it's not just your brother, like, you are going to be able to do this too, and I want you to prove to everyone that, like, Girl Scouts can be builders, they can be just as good as the boys. So I think that's really it. I just wanted to be the high achiever. I really wanted to make a difference in my community, both by leaving a physical structure and also an emotional impact.
I love that you are such a go-getter. You see a glass ceiling and you're like, I'm going to break that. Even when you're too young to even join Girl Scouts, you say, well, when I can, I'm going to do that. I'm really inspired by you, Claire, and that's part of why I wanted to invite you here. And for those who don't have some background on your project, can you just give us a quick gist of what your project entailed?
Yes. So I titled my project Growing Healthy Habits, and it focused on inspiring youth to lead healthy lifestyles. And I did that by hosting workshops where I gave out instructional pamphlets. And also we did activities like I had a presentation that I told them all about, like, how to live a healthy lifestyle. We played games that encourage physical activity. We had snacks that showcased some healthy foods that we could eat. And then I also built a playground or refurbished a playground in an underserved area of my community. So that way they were able, once I was gone, to still have an area to exercise and to really, like, put those habits that we learned in those workshops to use.
That was such a well thought out project, and it's sustainable, and it'll make an impact not only last year and this year, but for several years to come. And it leads me to ask, in a time where there's so many activities, you're pulled so many different ways with academics, what led you to chose to dedicate 13 years to the Girl Scout program?
I really think it was the girls around me because I know, like, with other troops, they really tend to disperse once girls get to high school age because there are sports, there are extracurriculars and everything. And we definitely got involved in them. We started meeting, twice every 2 weeks instead of every week. But all of us were such good friends, and we didn't all go to the same school. We really just had Girl Scouts in common. And so to be able to keep up those friendships, we wanted to keep meeting, we wanted to keep seeing each other. And we really motivated each other and pushed each other so that way we could all be the best we could be. And that's actually what led us all to getting our gold awards together.
I love so much to hear that you guys built a sisterhood and then through that pushed each other to this highest achievement. I'm sure that was such an awesome moment to know that you all did this together, all at different paces, all at different steps. That's just so awesome. You not only built a community, but you were also able to find a home with your Girl Scout troop. That's awesome. So I'm wondering, what does it mean to you to have been not only awarded with the Girl Scout Gold Award, but to have been selected as a national honoree?
I honestly was floored when I found out that I had been selected. It was just mind boggling. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but I think it's just such an honor that it's not just like the people in my counselor or the people in my troop, it's like actual America. But they're like, yes, like, we think that your project was amazing. And I'm just like, just so thankful that they were able to see like the thought and the impact that I was able to have in my community, and that they were willing to give me some support to help continue to do that in the future.
It's so clear that you have a commitment to service and you are so deserving of this honor. And I'm happy to know you. And we can't wait to see what you go on to achieve. The skills you've learned in Girl Scouts and the things you're learning in school right now, you're going to go so far. We really know it. So I'd like to go ahead and wrap up this conversation, but it was so awesome to have you here. Thanks so much for joining
Thanks
us.
for inviting me. I had so much fun.
All right, we will see you all next time. Feeling inspired? Find more amazing Girl Scout stories like these at www.gsccc.org.